Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be testing out some random new makeup products that have trickled in over the last couple of months. A couple of these were sent to me in PR. A few of them I picked up myself at the drugstore. I've got a very random mix here. We're going to be delving into the world of color correcting today, which I have never done before, so this should be interesting. I've got a lot of new bronzers here that we're going to talk about and try. A primer, some liquid eyeshadows, and a new lip gloss. So it should be a fun one. But before we get into the makeup, a very special welcome to any of my new visitors. Please consider subscribing to my channel before you leave and make sure that your notifications are turned on. And with that, we've got a lot of makeup to put on, so let's get right to it. Okay, so let's start off with this right here. This was sent to me by Milk Makeup. I've actually had this for a couple of months. I have tried it out already, and I'm not sure what I think about this. This is their Cloud Glow Primer. It's kind of a mousse. It's a very watery mousse. It's not as kind of creamy as my Flower Beauty Priming Whip, which you guys know I love. Literally is like a non-sticky hair mousse, honestly. It's very, very lightweight. I don't really know what this does for me. I've tried it a few times, and other than it maybe having some skincare properties in it that might be beneficial for your skin, I don't really notice it doing much for my makeup itself. It really feels more like a water. I mean, it gets on your skin. It doesn't feel greasy at all, but it doesn't even feel kind of serum-like. It just kind of sinks into your skin as if it was just water, truly. So yeah, I'm not sure what I think about this. I probably need some more time with it, but generally speaking, if it's just something that's skincare related, not gonna do a lot for my makeup, it's not usually something that I find to be life-changing, but I'll give it some time. Let's jump over to foundation next. So I don't have a new foundation. I'm just gonna add a layer of my Kosas foundation. Haven't used this one for a while. I have the shade 210, and let's apply this with a brush today. It's been a while since I've used my Kosas foundation. So much so that I can't even remember. Do I usually apply this? I feel like there's a way that I prefer to apply this foundation, and it might be my fingers actually. That's okay. Let's make do with the brush today. I know there's shade going on. It is quite yellow. It's a very like greeny yellow base, but especially when I have a lot of discoloration, which I definitely do right now, or redness, I feel like this cancels out a lot of that. And once I blend it in, it will look normal. Trust me. So I would love to know from you guys, how many of you guys do the color correcting? Like have you ever done the red or the orange, like under eye concealer? I know there's been some brands that have done things like that over the years. I've never tried it. Always seemed a little gimmicky to me, or a little too scientific based for my schedule. It's always seemed a little bit complicated to me, so this will be interesting. I'm just adding a tiny bit more of my other shade of Kosas. This is shade 160. I'm just gonna apply a little bit more of this, kind of right to the center part of my face, just for a little bit more coverage. All right, let's move on to the color correcting next. I'm not really sure if you're supposed to color correct and do concealer, or if you kind of do one or the other. If you guys do the color correcting thing, let me know how you choose to do it. I probably should have done some more research, but these color correctors from Physicians Formula showed up on my porch literally this morning, so I didn't really have a lot of time to kind of do research or figure out how best to use these. And the directions they give on the back are very basic. They say, apply anywhere you want to color correct. Brighten and conceal by swiping doe foot applicator over the skin, then blend and blur using dual-ended sponge. Which I think I could have figured that part out on my own, but they have a yellow, a green, a purple, and a kind of orangey peach. And this is a little card that came with it. So the yellow is meant to neutralize dark purple or blue discoloration, especially in the under eyes. The green targets redness, blemishes, and hyperpigmentation. The peach neutralizes dark spots and dark circles, and the lavender brightens dullness and neutralizes sallow yellow undertones. So just based on this little readout here, I'm kind of thinking like the yellow and green will probably be the ones that I will use. I don't really see where a peach would work for me. I don't know, it probably just depends on what you're trying to conceal. But the green, I do have a lot of discoloration. Maybe the green on some of these hyperpigmentation patches could help me out a little bit, and then we're gonna use this on just this under eye area. Good thing is my foundation is quite yellow based today. I honestly feel like I've never noticed that foundation not matching me well before, but I'm really seeing the yellow in it today. Maybe all my self-tan has worn off, and so it's not matching me as well as it does when I have more tan. Let's go ahead and dig in to, let's start with the green. So I'm just gonna take a tiny bit of this and just apply it directly over those little spots that I have, which are mostly this big one right here, the little one right here, got a couple right here, and then a lot up here by my eye. Honestly, you guys, this is about that time of year that I really start to see all that discoloration showing back up. It kind of goes into hiding in the wintertime, thankfully. Then as soon as we have a few warm days where I spend a little bit of time out in the sun, even if I mask up heavily with sunscreen, they really shine through. Makes me miss the days when I was young, like in my 20s, and I'd go out in the sun, I'd get this perfect sprinkling of like freckles. But they were normal freckles. They weren't like hyperpigmentation, weird mask marks. Okay, I don't know. I feel like this is making that worse. It looks black now. Maybe that's not really what it was meant for. Yeah, that looks worse. Maybe I should have used the peach. I don't know. What is the difference between hyperpigmentation and dark spots? I always kind of thought they were the same thing, but maybe there's a difference, and the peach is better for some. I honestly feel like that made them worse. Like they look darker now, which probably just means I'm not using the right shade. So I probably will need some more time playing with those a little bit. I still want to try the yellow under my eyes, and then we'll probably just top these with normal concealer. I had a feeling when I got these that these would kind of not do much for me, or they would not really be my thing. They just seem like one extra step because I don't feel like they have enough coverage. I mean, I know I haven't used it yet, but I can just tell swiping it on, it's just, I mean, you're not really using these to cover. They're just meant to like cancel or correct for coloring. And I need coverage too. So it just seems like one extra step that maybe it's just a little too high maintenance for me, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But if it really did something great for my under, okay, that actually helped. That actually did help quite a bit. I don't know that I would say that's like a replacement for an under eye concealer, but I do like what the yellow one did for my under eyes more than what I felt like the green did for these marks on my face, which now look worse than when we started. So we're gonna go over to the to add a concealer on top of these. These are just my Butter Glow concealers. These were also sent to me by Physicians Formula a year ago. They are one of my very favorite drugstore concealers. I talk about them all the time, which you guys very well know. So we're gonna take this one, which is actually medium to tan, and I'm gonna apply a tiny bit of this right on top of that spot. They do have a sponge tip applicator on the top. I've never actually used it. Something about that just like seems a little bit of a nuisance to dampen it or to wash it once it gets really dirty. So I just like using the sponge that I'm typically using already. Okay, then I'm gonna add a little bit more over here. This shade's a little dark for me. It's the only bad thing about this specific concealer. I think they only have 6 or 7 shades. I actually like having multiple shades of a concealer because you can use different shades in different areas and kind of customize to get the right shade match. It also is just a bit of a nuisance if you want just something that works everywhere, because it's hard to find a perfect match no matter who you are unless you're just lucky. So I'm just applying, that was medium tan, this is light medium. So those two together, I'm gonna let them kind of sit there for a sec. And then for my eyelids, I love using this one. This is the lightest shade that they offer, Fair to Light. Such a great light shade. And I love using it for my eyelids to brighten them up, just as a bit of a primer. And maybe I'll use a little bit here in the center of my face too, just to kind of brighten things up a bit. Okay, I'm gonna blend this lighter shade out first, and then I'll come over to these and blend them out. I love this concealer. It is so creamy, such great coverage, super blendable, just wears really well for me. And I love the smell of it. It has such a beautiful scent. So I'll let you guys know if I decide to try out. I'm thinking maybe the peach might work for some of these dark spots that I have in certain patches on my face. I'll try that out on my own and let you guys know if it does anything spectacular for me. I don't know. I liked the yellow. I don't know that I liked it more than I just like a typical under eye concealer that's just a half a shade lighter to brighten things up. And a lot of the concealers that I reach for generally have a bit of a yellow undertone to them. So I don't know that I would say that's like a good replacement, but if you're into color correcting, I just don't feel like I'm one to really say either way because I'm just so inexperienced with this. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit of powder. I just have my Rimmel Stay Matte powder right here. I just wanna powder my eyelids and my forehead and my smile lines. Okay, let's move on to bronzers. So I'm not gonna be able to use all of these, but I have a couple of bronzers that were sent to me recently. First off, these two. I've had this Pacifica Sunny Glow bronzing drops for quite a while now. I know there's a lot of companies that have been coming out with products like this. I have used these and I think I would really love these if I did not have so much hyperpigmentation on my cheeks here. They're just such a liquidy product that you need to use a good amount of them, and they're just so emollient and liquidy that if I have any sort of coverage underneath, it just pulls all the coverage that I have off. So I would say these are better for someone that doesn't deal with a lot of hyperpigmentation. They are very quick, they're very beautiful as far as just giving you like a nice, healthy, natural sun-kissed glow. Same goes for this. I've tried these once. These are the Physicians Formula Butter Glow Bronzing Serum. Let me just swatch these side by side so you guys can see how the colors of these differ. I think they're quite similar. So here's the Physicians Formula one. They feel really nice. They're just very liquidy and creamy without feeling too greasy. They feel very gel-like. And then here is the Pacifica one right here. So yeah, they're almost identical in shade. They really do have the same kind of effect. I just prefer something that's maybe more of a solid cream or even a powder bronzer or a much more pigmented liquid bronzer, which is why we are going to go with this one today. This is the Butter Glow Contour Wand, which also was sent to me in that same Physicians Formula package. So this one is the light medium shade. So there are two shades of this. I want to swatch them side by side for you guys. Ooh, that's probably too much, way too much. Okay, so there's the light medium shade. These blend out really nicely. So I know that looks crazy and dark, but on the skin, they blend out really well. And then let me just swatch the medium deep shade right next to it. Actually not that different. I mean, this one is deeper by a smidge. So there's the light one, there's the medium deep one. Honestly, they look almost identical to each other. That's kind of strange. I do want to swatch this one next to my Charlotte Tilbury because the packaging seems so similar to me. I thought we could see if they're close dupes or close shade matches. Okay, very similar actually. There's the Charlotte Tilbury. This is the light medium shade of Physicians Formula and the medium deep shade of the Physicians Formula. So let me wipe those off the back of my hand first. We're going to, this is how I typically apply this one. Take the little bit that's in the sponge applicator and I just tap about 3 little taps on my cheek. And then I'm gonna use a brush to blend this in. This is just the brush I typically use with my cream bronzers. This one's from Sydney Grace. And I like to tap more than I like to pull. And that's one of the reasons I like a brush over a sponge. I just find it's easier to kind of like tap and not disturb all that concealing that we did underneath. It really helps to keep those spots covered. Same on the other side. So I like the liquids. I think they're nice. I just think they take a little bit more blending than a cream typically does. I'm just taking what's left, kind of pulling it down side of my ear, side of my neck. I'm actually gonna take a tiny bit on the back of my hand and really work it into the brush so it's not quite, there's not much product there, and just kind of apply a little bit to the tops of my temples. It looks really nice. It definitely did a good job not pulling off coverage. I mean, you can still see the spot a little bit there, but I don't think I had that thing perfectly covered. I know it's getting darker now, so there's not gonna be many things that will actually cover that all the way. But I think that looks really nice and natural. I like the shade, nice and warm, but it's not orange. Let me do my brows really quick. I don't have anything new for my eyebrows today. I'm just gonna throw in a little bit of let's go with my Blade Brow from Revolution Beauty. This is like Re-Love by Revolution. It's like the Walmart's version of Makeup Revolution, which I know I've talked about this before, but they have like 3 different brands. They're like spin-offs of the same brand. Makes it very confusing. Then I'm just going to throw in a little bit of my Milk Makeup Clear Brow Gel to set those in place. All right, and I think I'd moved on from my cheeks a little prematurely. We have one more new thing to try. This is also from Physicians Formula. This is their Butter Glow Bronzer and Blush. So I did use this the other day, and it's actually very pretty. I really like products like this that are kind of like multitaskers. This could be a bronzer, a blush, and a highlighter, kind of all in one. It gives you some color, it gives you some warmth, it gives you a little bit of glow. Of course, you could also use it in addition to a contour or a bronzer for kind of like a bronzer topper or like a blush topper. Today, we're just gonna apply it with a very large brush like this, just mixing all the colors together. I would call it more of a blush shade than a bronzer shade though, as you guys will see. But it's a nice, pretty, kind of like warm brownie peach. Really pretty shade for summer. And I'm sure you could concentrate in, like if you just wanted to do more of the pink, you could just kind of concentrate in this section here rather than mixing them all together. But that's kind of what it looks like, just all mixed together. Very pretty. Let's add a little bit of highlighter. You don't necessarily need it because you do get a bit of glow from that. But I'm just gonna take a little bit of my Reloaded highlighter for Makeup Revolution and add a tiny bit more just right here. Okay. And now let's move on to the eyes. So today I have 3 new liquid eyeshadows that were sent to me by Persona. These are the 3 shades that they have. We have Oro, which is a beautiful kind of peachy gold, Pony, which is a very iridescent kind of blue shifty pink, and then Belle, which is a good medium cool tone bronze. I'm gonna swatch these on the back of my hand for you guys. So far I've tried the medium bronze and the champagne. I haven't tried the pink one yet. It's quite a statement kind of pink. So when I tried these out before, they didn't crease on me, but I did notice that they kind of felt tacky on my eyes. I added 2 layers of them, and liquid shadows can be tricky in this way. Sometimes I think if you add too thick of a layer, or if you don't let the first layer dry before you add a little more, sometimes they can not set down properly. So I did kind of feel the tackiness on my eyelids throughout the day. So there are the 3 different shades right there. Look at that pink, you guys. It is so beautiful. So there is, I forgot the names of these, Pony, Belle, and then Oro. So for today, I think we're just gonna use the peachy bronze, the shade Oro. We're gonna supplement that with some mattes from my Sigma Ambience palette. So I'm just gonna throw a couple of these mattes into my crease and outer corner, and then we'll add the cream shadow on top. All right, now over to the Persona shadow. I'm just gonna take a little bit of this, swipe it on the back of my hand, and then I've applied these both with a finger and with a brush. And I think the finger is the best way to go. Just feel like you get better control with how much goes on with your finger. But I'm just gonna kind of keep tapping over them as they are drying, just to make sure I don't have too much on there. It's not too thick. I think the pink one has the most like glitter and sparkle in it. These ones are more of like a soft metallic. Okay, so there are the finished eyes with the liquid shadow. It's a very pretty color. It's nice and light, but not too icy or brightening if you're not into that kind of thing. I'm going to go now and take a little bit of this lightest shimmer in my Sigma palette. Just take that on a pinpoint brush and apply that to the inner corner right here. Okay, let's add some liner and mascara. I'm gonna run just a little bit of a wing liner with my Wet n Wild liner pencil and then add a couple coats of my Panorama mascara. Then I'll be back and we'll finish off with the lips. All right, eyes are all finished. Last up, I have a couple of lip products that I picked up myself at the drugstore. First off, a lip liner from e.l.f. This is the e.l.f. Cream Glide Lip Liner. I have used this already. This one is in the shade Pinky Swear. Let me swatch it on the back of my hand for you guys. Really good basic nude shade. Very creamy, but not long wearing at all. It was only, I think it was only $2, maybe $3 at my drugstore. But I was happy to see that e.l.f. had some lip liners. I have not seen a lip liner from e.l.f. at my drugstore ever, so it was fun to see this show up. I would love to see them, if they haven't yet, come out with some long wearing lip liners, which are kind of my jam, as you guys know. So very basic, not gonna last all day, but if you're looking for something cheap just to kind of throw in your go bag maybe, not a bad option. I also have a new lip gloss. This I picked up from my drugstore as well. This is from L'Oreal. This is in Pristine Pink, which is just kind of a milky sort of white based pink. I kind of like shades like this, especially when I have a bit of a tan, like in the summertime. And especially if I have a darker lip liner underneath. I don't know if this lip liner is going to qualify as dark enough, but I do like the formula of these. They're very creamy, they're not sticky, but a very pretty color if you like that kind of like nude, very like nuded out kind of lip look. I like this a little bit better when I have a bit of a darker lip liner underneath. Let me just show you guys. Let's just put a little bit of this. This is from Juvia's Place. This is Lush. Just right there in the center. There we go. Okay, and I think that is everything. So let's just go through some of the things that we tried for the first time today, or just share some final thoughts on a couple things. I wanted to go back to these swatches on my hand, which have been drying on the back of my hand for about 10 minutes now, and just show you guys, these are very budge proof. So if you are into the liquid eyeshadows that stay all day, these are a good formula. I really like how this color looks on the eyes. It's a really soft kind of, it does have some sparkle in it. It's very pretty. It's not overly intense though. I feel like, which is probably a good thing for most people. Sometimes I think I like my eyeshadow shimmers to be more sparkly and glittery than most people would like on an everyday basis. This is more of an everyday kind of shimmer. And I do feel like this one has set down better than the first time I used that shade. I used a brush then and I put 2 layers on. I don't think I let them dry in between. It just felt a little bit too heavy, but I'm not feeling that now. As for some of the other things, I'm very happy with this blush, kind of hybrid blush bronzer shade. I think it's very pretty, a very easy product to throw on your cheeks in the summertime. I really like the contour wand. I will be honest, these aren't my first choice to reach for when it comes to bronzing or contouring, but if you are into these, I think this is a really good one. It is very, very close to the Charlotte Tilbury, and I like how it looks on the cheeks. I'll keep playing with these over the summer. What I said about my hyperpigmentation and working with a product like this, I think will probably hold true and be even more of an issue as summer gets here. My dark spots tend to get even deeper, but they are a nice product if you like something just to kind of throw on your skin. If you don't have a lot to cover or don't like to cover or look very kind of masky in the summer, just want something to add some color to your face, some life to your face, those are both really nice. And then as for the color correcting, I will keep you posted on these. I doubt that these are going to be a major win for me because it just seems like one more step that if I need a concealer, I don't know that a color correcting is gonna get me to where I need to be coverage wise, but I don't wanna have to do both. So let me know if you guys have any insights on color correcting. I am sure any one of you are probably more knowledgeable on the subject than I am because this was really my first time. But if it is your thing, I do like Physicians Formula. I love their Butter Glow Concealer, and these do kind of have that same kind of smell. I'll also keep you guys posted on the Milk Makeup Foaming Primer. I've probably been using this on and off for the last week. I'm not noticing anything major, so I don't know that I'm gonna highly recommend that one. I just don't know that it does very much for me, but let me know if you guys had different thoughts on it. But that is everything for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful. Let me know if you guys have tried out some of these products, if they work for you or not. I hope that you guys are all doing well. Let me give you one final reminder to subscribe if you haven't done that yet, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. Here. Pinky swear, I think. Pinky swear. Pinky swear.